me
Yeah.
5 people you're ready to fight right now.
Timothy Bradley, Paul,
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather, Devin Alexander, and whoever
Yeah.
the fan wants.
Yeah. Listen, I told you give them something visual. So you in the head and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the brews. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing
You
round table.
motherfucking too. It's your boy, Rollo Jenkins. Now, I'm finna hit y'all with the, matter of fact, I believe that the whole round table panel gonna come up with some different topics, some different shits that we can kind of stir up the YTBC with, you know, because we all kind of got some different shit on our minds and some topics that we always like to discuss, and they come up all the time in our discussions on the horn. But I like to get a lot of other folks' opinions on this one particular topic. Now, see, I am of the mindset that I am not perfect. I am not an angel. I am not narcissistic. I wouldn't consider myself conceited or arrogant. And with saying that, I don't believe that my opinion of a fucking fight is the only opinion that should be counted in a fight. So let me explain and dig deeper into this subject so y'all can get where I'm coming from. So, you ever had a friend that said some shit like, "Oh man, I met this chick the other day at such and such a place." And you're like, "Okay. Man, this bitch bad as hell, dog. She got a fat ass, blah, 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 and this and that about her," right? So you're like, "Cool, okay, that's what's up." So y'all go ride out, and y'all run into old girl that your boy was just telling you about. And you're like, "Damn, that bitch kind of fat, dog. She ain't that bad to me. But to him, she the shit." Now, his opinion of her ain't wrong. His opinion is only different from yours. So when you're watching a fight, in that same instance, in that same manner, just like when they say a bad bitch is a chick with this, that, and the third, big old ass, big old titties, nice long hair, nice skin. Well, one dude might only like light-skinned chicks, or might only fuck with white chicks, or they gotta be Hispanic, Latino, whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? To some motherfuckers, Beyonce don't have a nice ass. To me, she does. But there's some motherfuckers that I know who think she need to put on a few more pounds. And that's okay. So when you say some shit about boxing like clean, effective punching, what the fuck is clean, effective punching to me might not be clean, effective punching to you. Or your opinion of a clean, effective punch might be some complete bullshit to me. Or a motherfucker having ring generalship might be running to me. Or the motherfucker with ring generalship to me might be a slugger or a brawler to you. It don't make my opinion right or wrong. It only makes my opinion different from yours. So, unless we see a fight where one motherfucker is clearly beating the shit out of the other motherfucker, you can always make a case for the other guy being declared the winner of a round, of an exchange, or a fight. Now, just recently, I heard a lot of people bitching about Tim Bradley being robbed against Diego Chavez. Now, let me say this. When I scored the fight, I actually had Bradley winning. But I don't think that it was a robbery at all if Chavez would have been declared the winner and I definitely don't have a problem with the draw. Because what I seen in that fight was neither guy clearly establishing that they were better than the other fighter. There was nothing. Nobody clearly established themselves as a superior fighter to the other guy, in my opinion. And what I gave Bradley the edge on was simply activity in some rounds. Now, this is the thing. In some of those rounds, one could say that Bradley might have been active, but nothing that he did was effective. Someone may say Chavez wasn't active, but what he did, and when he did do it, was clearly effective. Because remember, one of the criteria for boxing is clean, effective punching. Remember that. Clean, effective punching. Now, in most fights, and I'm talking probably 98% of boxing, in 98% of fights, only 50% of the action is clean. And when I say clean, well, you can clearly see a punch landed or not landed. And some people, they count everything. If you hit a motherfucker on the gloves, that's a punch landed to them. Some people only count punches where it seems like it's clean and effective. Some people count effective punches way more than they count activity punches. So let's say a motherfucker get jabbed in the face slightly, twice, 2-3 times. And after that third jab, he hit a motherfucker with a hook square on the fucking face and turn the motherfucker head. I mean, whip a nigga head like the Exorcist. His knee buckles and he takes a step back. And in that split second, regathers himself and goes back to work. Some people would say that hook was more effective than all of the other shit that the other motherfucker did in the whole round. Some people will say the other dude was just outworking him. With air quotations, I would say people say it's boxing. Neither opinion is wrong. It just depends on what side of the fence you on. And if you, in your opinion of what's clean, effective punching, you happen to be an official judge of that fight on that particular night or not. That's all that matters. Because when I watched Canelo versus Lara, people told me Lara got robbed. I thought Lara lost at least 8 rounds. Easy, in my eyes. But I wasn't going to argue with anybody who said Lara won, because it's just their opinion of what they thought was clean, effective punching. And what they consider ring generalship, I called it running. Now, am I wrong for saying that this motherfucker was taking big leaps in the opposite direction with his back to Canelo, running? You call it ring generalship. I call it running. I'm not right. You're not wrong. But if you were the official judge that day, you would have had it score for Lara. This is the thing. It is the sole obligation of the fighter in the ring to separate himself from his opposition inside the ring. If you can't make that separation clear enough that can't nobody deny it, that's your fault. Because let me tell you something. We ain't never had no controversy with a Triple G outcome, a Vladimir Klitschko outcome, a Deontay Wilder outcome. These motherfuckers ain't never had to have no rematches in recent times. But even with guys like Cotto, when he lost fights, was no controversy in the fact that he lost. He got his ass whooped. And when he won fights, he whooped ass. He separated himself from his competition. Whether it be good, or in a good way, or in a bad way. And that's the obligation of him as a fighter. And that's why I like Cotto. Cotto don't leave it up to the judges and shit, or at least he tries not to. And if he lose, and when he loses going out on his shield, not just trying to skate by. He loses because he attempted to separate himself from his opposition inside the ring, and he just wasn't the better man on that night. And it was clear at the end of the day pretty much who the fuck was the winner and the loser of that fight. Because what Cotto doesn't do is he doesn't try and squeak by. He doesn't try and kill time and waste time. And you ain't never accused Cotto of running in a fight unless he was fucking getting his ass whooped. And at that point in time, it was clear that he was not winning a fight and he was the apparent loser of a fight. And if you lose in a fight, that's okay. If you running and shit. But don't be running around and shit and then want to come back and say you the winner of a fucking fight. Running around a ring, to me, doesn't declare you the winner of a fight. That's not ring generalship in my eyes. But hey, if you call it ring generalship, that's okay. But if that motherfucker that you saying has some ring generalship, if he hit that motherfucker on the chin and the referee counted 10, we ain't gotta have no ring generalship discussion. Matter of fact, if he just hit the nigga on the chin a couple more times, period, we might not even have to have that discussion. So, when you watching a fight and you gotta dig and pick, overanalyze, and overthink who the fuck is winning, when you gotta pull out a scorecard and start tallying that shit up, when you gotta think about who won that round, then it ain't clear. It's no clear winner. And based on what you consider effective execution of the makeup of what boxing is, then in your eyes, you can decide who the fuck won or not. You know what I'm saying? Just like you can say that fat bitch to me is a bad bitch to you. It don't make me right, and it don't make you wrong. But she ain't bad to me. But it's okay if that's your cup of tea. It's alright. But don't tell me that bitch bad, and I'm wrong for saying she ain't. Cause I like a bitch who look like she go to the gym a little bit. So, us as boxing fans, we have to understand that just because Laura was moving around the ring and he looked like he had skates on and shit, and it looked pretty to you, that's cool. And if you thought he won, that is okay. But if somebody didn't think that he won, don't shit on them and tell them that they don't know shit about boxing just because the shit that you like ain't the shit that he like. Because in other sports, we always have this same discussion. It's just in a different fashion. Say, for instance, how many times have you been watching a football game with your favorite team and you thought it was a bad call? It wasn't holding. It wasn't pass interference. It wasn't roughing the quarterback. But the flag got through. They moved 15 yards or 10 yards and went on to the next play. It may or may have not affected the outcome of the game. It may have decided the game totally. Hell, the Super Bowl a few years ago, the 49ers and the Ravens. They could have called pass interference on that last penalty, and you would have had a whole bunch of motherfuckers in Baltimore mad as fuck. Maybe on the East Coast. All these motherfuckers who gambled and bet on the Ravens. But the difference is, even if they had called pass interference, the 49ers would have still, at some point in time, on that next play, or the next one after that, if it would have been, they would have had to gotten the ball in the end zone and actually scored a touchdown for it to have mattered anyway. You know what I'm saying? That's the only difference in boxing. And when it's over, somebody says, that was pass interference, I'm going to give him the touchdown. Or it wasn't pass interference, and they're not going to give him a touchdown. That's the difference in boxing and other sports. We always have that shit. The human element is always there. It's a foul or it's not a foul. It's a foul depending on the caliber of player. If it's LeBron James, hell yeah, that's a foul. If it's the last nigga on the bench with 8 minutes left in a blowout game, then it might not be a foul. You know what I'm saying? So we always have the human element in all the sports. Boxing is no different. It's not corrupt judges. Judges aren't corrupt. You know what I'm saying? Nobody never got knocked out. Well, no, not recently, but nobody gets knocked out in a fight. And then somebody say, oh, that wasn't a knockout. He really wasn't down. I mean, we've had those controversies in the past. But even that is sketchy. I thought that the Korobov Andy Lee fight was stopped a little premature. But the one thing we ain't gonna say is Korobov really won the fight. We ain't gonna say that. You might say Buster Douglas got a long count against Mike Tyson. But what you're not gonna say is Mike Tyson really won that fight. You're not gonna say that he didn't lose to Buster Douglas. The Fan Man might have fucked up the fight with Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield. But you're not gonna give the motherfucker the win because the Fan Man came in and fucked up his rhythm. Because the other dude's rhythm got fucked up too. You're not gonna say that the only reason the 49ers almost won was because the lights went out in the Super Bowl. They had to warm up again because the other team had to do the same damn shit. So, whenever you watching a fight from now on, anybody who hears this video, when you watching a fight, and whoever the fuck you think is winning, or you feel like is winning, understand this. If he ain't bashing this nigga's heads in, if he ain't lumping his face up like a pumpkin, putting him on his pockets, if he ain't landing and connecting uppercuts, making his knees buckle every round, just understand the way you seeing it, somebody else could be seeing it a little different. When I was watching the motherfucking game the other day, my brother-in-law, my older sister's husband, is from right outside of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So he's a big-time Alabama fan. Big-time Alabama fan. So as the game is going on, and I think Ohio State went up by 2 touchdowns. Me and all the dudes at work, we sitting there watching the game, and we like, damn, you know what I'm saying? The Big Ten playing good. Ohio State playing good. Nobody thought that Ohio State could play this good. You know what I'm saying? They was doing a damn good job. And when I called my brother-in-law, I said, I know you up watching the game, dog, but trust me, man, they gonna come back, they gonna make it. Nah, dog, they playing like shit. Well, I didn't think Alabama was playing like shit. I just thought Ohio State was playing really good. But in his eyes, Alabama was playing like shit. So you're seeing what you think you're seeing, and somebody else is seeing the same shit, but from a different perspective. Maybe you seeing a guy doing some work, but the other person is looking at it, and they're thinking he moving a lot, he throwing his hands, but none of the shit he's doing is effective. He might as well not be doing it. The other guy ain't doing a whole lot, but they might think to themselves, when he did do something, it was way more effective than all of the other bullshit that the other dude did. And the other person may be thinking, well, when he did do something, it was effective. He just didn't do enough of it. You gotta understand, all fights have a conclusive ending. And that is, somebody is either declared the winner, the loser, or it's a draw. And it's up on the fighter. It's his responsibility to leave no doubt when he gets outside of that ring that he was the winner. Every time a fighter gets in the ring, he has the chance to leave as the decisive winner of a fight. A motherfucker told me, bet the house on Nonito Donaire against Nicholas Walters. Bet the house, the kids' college fund, anything you can steal from your mama and daddy. Go get the deed to the house, title to the car. Bet that shit on Nonito Donaire. That's what he told me. For about 3-4 days. Talk to this nigga on the phone all the time. Nigga, you better bet on Nonito Donaire. But I bet you what? After Nonito Donaire left the ring from fighting Nicholas Walters, there wasn't a soul who was saying that Nonito Donaire really won that fight. Because what Nicholas Walters did, he used that opportunity to make sure that there was a clear and decisive winner in that motherfucking fight. So did Terrence Crawford. Tim Bradley didn't do that though. Not just because it was a knockout or a stoppage. Like, Andy Lee was getting his ass whooped. But at the end of that fight, it was clear to everybody around that bitch who the fuck the winner was. Now, you might not particularly agree with the stoppage, like I don't, but it was absolutely, positively, 100% clear and conclusive who the fuck the winner of that fight was. And that was Andy Lee. Now, is he a better fighter than Korobov? I wouldn't bet on Andy Lee in a rematch. And I also wouldn't bet against him. But in that fight, the winner of that motherfucker was conclusive. Not so much so to the point where, like I said, I wouldn't bet on either guy to win or lose if they were to rematch. Matter of fact, I'd be more inclined to bet with Korobov, actually. But I wouldn't. But I am sure that ain't nobody on this bitch finna have no debate or say it was a robbery. Andy Lee and Korobov. That's not gonna happen. Neither with Terrence Crawford and Gamboa, or Nicholas Walters, Nonito Donaire, fucking Lomachenko, and fucking Gary Russell Jr. Nobody's arguing those fights. Because those guys made it clear who was the better fucking fighter on the night of those fights. They made it absolutely clear. Whether you had the fight scored wide or you had it scored a little closer. Nobody argued with the decision in that fight. Nobody. Not 9-1 of the judges. Not 9-1 of the people who watched that motherfucking fight. Nobody. I had never heard anybody say that they thought that Gary Russell won that fight with Lomachenko. Not one person. So, in conclusion, I just want to respectively say that I understand everyone's opinion, how and why it can be different from mine. And I just ask that you, as you watch a fight, that you be open-minded enough to understand that what you see and how you perceive it and take it in, somebody else can be looking at it a little bit different. It's your boy, Rollo Jenkins. Holla at your boy.
So you in the head and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the bruise. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round